Hello everyone, I hope that this video finds you well. I wanted to provide you with a resource that can help you stay on top of your assignments in any given semester. So now you're receiving this mid-semester and you can start from here until the end of the semester, or in the future you can start at the beginning of the semester and keep on top of all of your assignments. The first thing that you'll need to do is make sure that you go to all your classes and receive your syllabi. Sometimes your syllabi will be in print, sometimes they'll be online. Either way, you need to have every syllabus for every class. Then, what you'll need to do is come to your computer and use Microsoft Excel. You can also use Google Sheets for this. The process is going to be the same. You want to use whatever spreadsheet program that you have available at your disposal to help you make this spreadsheet. Then, what you'll want to do is make sure that you set up the columns. These columns are going to be critical because it will not import into your calendar of choice. And by your calendar of choice, we're talking about Microsoft Outlook, the iCalendar, Google Calendar, or whatever calendar that you're looking for. Uh, your calendar will not import correctly if your columns are not correct here. So this is critical. I'm going to explain all the columns here shortly. The first one is going to be the subject column. This is where you would want to put what the specific assignment is, whether it's a quiz, whether it's a test, whether it's a program, whatever the case may be. You put it in this column. The next column is going to be start date. And generally the convention is going to be, when do you as a student want to get started on this assignment? And usually your start date and your reminder date may correspond with one another. However, you might decide to make it different. It doesn't really matter. Just keep in mind that the main thing that you want to make sure that you do is have your end date correspond with when you turn in your assignment. So the start date is when you want to begin it. The end date is when you need to turn it in. All right. Start time and end time correspond with when you want to start the assignment and what time you want to submit the assignment. So if your assignment's due on Saturday at midnight, then this date needs to correspond with the Saturday, and then this time needs to be midnight. So this way you know that you need to turn in whatever assignment that is at that particular time. The next column is going to be description. Here is where you will type whatever you want to remind yourself of when it comes to this assignment. So maybe you decide that you write down the specifics of the assignment, or maybe the assignment has some specific parameters in terms of how you need to turn it in, what time you need to turn it in. Maybe it's a group project, so you want to put your group members in here. Whatever information you feel is pertinent to put in the description field, please put it here. The next column is reminder on off, and this column is critical. If you want to be reminded of when this assignment is due via your phone or your computer, you will make sure that you leave this toggle to on. If you only want this to show up in your calendar as an event, but you do not care if you are reminded of it or not, then toggle this to off. Reminder date. This is when you want to be reminded of the assignment being due, right? So you'll notice in this particular example, here the reminder date is 9/12, but the end date is 9/19. And if you'll recall from earlier, the end date is the day that you submitted. So in essence, this individual wants to be reminded a week before their project is due. And you'll notice they keep the same convention throughout the spreadsheet. So this one's due 10/10. Excuse me, the reminder date is 10/10 and it is due 10/17. The reminder date is 10/24 and it is due 10/31. There is a week between when they are reminded and when they have to submit the assignment. You can make this a 3-day interval, you can make this a 5-day interval, whatever interval you feel is best, but just make sure that you do it in such a manner that's going to allow you to be efficient and effective in doing your work. Reminder time. This is when you want to be reminded. So, for example, if you set a reminder time at 12 a.m., then your phone or your computer will beep in the middle of the night, potentially waking you up. You want to ideally make this at a time that you know that you'll be awake, at a time that you know that you'll be near your device. Excuse me, not your advice, but your device, so that this way, when your device does go off, then you know to look at it and you will make sure that you follow suit with what you're setting up. And then finally, the last column is going to be all day event. If you toggle this to yes, then on your calendar it will block out the entire day from the morning until the afternoon for this particular event. So for most of these, you want this to be no. However, there may be times where you have an assignment that is all day, and if it is all day, then maybe you toggle this to yes. So again, critical that you have columns A through J here and these columns headed. All right, and then once you set up your spreadsheet in that manner, you will fill it in with the different assignments. So you see I've got class assignment 1, and I filled in all the information that goes along with class assignment 1. And then I've got my second class, and I've got my assignments here, and I filled in all this information here. And now I've got my third class, and I filled it in. And you want to fill it in completely, right? Make sure that you put in all of the homework, any random assignments, any extra credit, any tests, any quizzes, anything that you're going to be graded on or you find to be important for you to make sure that you remember for your class. Once you have done that and filled out your spreadsheet completely, you want to make sure that you go to File, and then you want to make sure that you go to Save As, and then you want to make sure that you save it as a CSV, a comma delimited file, right? The reason for this is because when it's time for you to import these files, that's what the program is going to look for. It's going to look for those commas. And when you look for those commas, it's going to separate those into the different fields, and then it'll update and it will send you notifications based off of that. So make sure that you save your file as a CSV. From that point, what you will do is if you've got Outlook or if you've got Google Calendar, you'll go ahead and import that CSV given however the instructions tell you to do it. If you've got an iCalendar, then you'll need to do an extra step because you'll have to go to the web and find you a converter from iCalendar from CSV to iCal. And then once you make that file conversion, you can insert it into your iCalendar, and then you'll be completely set up. So that's just some background information on how to get this done. It should help you out and keep you informed of what you've got going on in classes. If you got any questions, you can feel free to shoot me an email. Or if you want this sheet as a template, I'll be happy to share it with you as well, and then you can fill it in from there. Thanks for your time, and I hope that you have a great day and that you're doing well in school.